Morning, and how are you today? How are you today? It's a wonderful Friday morning. It's a wet morning in our city. It's raining, started raining late last night, and it has continued off and on throughout the early morning. And here you are. Good morning, Stacy. I think of you. You show up. Hadn't heard from you for a couple of hours, so here we are. Hi, Georgie. Good morning. It's raining in the city. It's much better. And so the gardener will get a good soak before it goes to bed for the winter. So how are you guys doing this morning? It is an amazing morning. Hi, Pina. How are you? Guys, Pina and I go a long way. She used to be my banker when I was in business for sale before I became a banker myself. So it's so funny. And we met again. And we are good friends, and we're going to go to dinner or lunch sometime soon. Hi, Kia, how are you this morning? So, it's 8 o'clock, and here I am preaching Paul. And let's get the show on the road. Hi, morning, good morning, Loretta, how are you? So, the art of giving, that's what our topic is today. Now, that is a topic that is wide. There's so many ends to it. Good morning, Lisa. The art of giving, and good morning, Yuko. The art of giving is just not giving. So you say, I am giving, and you're the one saying, I am giving. That is giving, of course. When you give, are you thinking that I have to hold back some for myself? Or do you just do it unconsciously? Because you're afraid that if you give, you will not have enough for yourself. I'm not talking about only possessions when I talk. Good morning, Ryan. I'm not talking about giving something that's tangible. I'm talking about giving something that is within you. Something you know that can benefit somebody else. And you go, I can't be bothered. I'm not going to help them. They'll get better than me. I'm not going to give to them. They'll get better than me. I'm sure there are many of you here this morning that has had that happen to you. I did. When I started this journey. And I remember that's how I met Yuko. Because all those years ago, it seems like 100 years, 3 years, almost 4, going into the 4th year. It is going into the 4th year. And when I asked somebody to help me, I had Instagram and all these things were very new to me. I had no idea what I was doing. So that meant she would have to give me a little knowledge. Instead of saying, oh, that's fine, just click this button when you see your face appear. And that's how you can put your name here. No, you'll figure it out. And that was her answer, and exactly that way. So you know me, I never gave up. So I said, you know what? I'm going to ask somebody else. Next person that fly in front of me was Yuko. I didn't know. I'd just seen her a couple times on some different places. And I said, hi, Yuko, can you help me and show me how to do that? And she said, sure. And she showed me in 30 seconds or less. And here we are. So, but I want you to understand that, hi, Lisa, good morning, that when you have such a gift, that we all do, we all have the ability to share. It's when you empty the cup, you make room for new. You cannot have a full cup and want more. And if that's happening to you, look at your giving. As I said, it's not always giving to get a reward or to feeling good and pat yourself on the shoulder and say, I gave to the food bank, I feel so good. What about if you just do it without saying how you feel and just give it? And think of the person who received that kind of beans. I say, shit, I really wanted to have kidney beans and now I am tasting it. Okay? But that person that couldn't empty her cup into me to teach me one thing, it's almost like I observe them, you see them, and it's like they poof. You know what is poof? And it disappeared. They didn't really disappear, but they dwindled away. That knowledge didn't grow. That knowledge, she didn't put it in me to grow. So I'm looking at the opposite ends of the spectrum here. So you hardly see her on Instagram. When she comes, she's all muddled. If she's not muddled, she's crying. I'm not believing it's because of me. But mine was so simple. I do not have this always saying, I hire him, good morning, I do not have this, always looking for it. No, I take Yuko, who is willing to jump in and help anybody. She seems to be flourishing, and she is flourishing. So which one do you want in your life? The art of giving gives you the life you live. It doesn't matter what people say, that you work like a slave and you do this. It's the time when you could just cause somebody to lose their job, you held back. It's the time when you said, you know what, you are doing good here. I need you to improve there. And it's to get that balance into helping others. It's the balance you're looking for. But the art of giving is not always tangible. It's sometimes your thought. Sometimes, you know what, I was thinking about this. What do you think? And maybe you do not want to say you should do this. Or maybe that person is talking to you and asking you a question and you're holding back. I'm not going to teach them that, like me. Or I'm not going to help them. They can afford. I'm a buy. No. I'm not giving them a gift. They say they have money they can afford. Can you say that with sweetness? Do you ever say that or ever see somebody saying that with joy in their heart? So when you do not be afraid to observe it, because it's in observation and listening that we learn. And I always say our 5 senses is what works up our emotion. When you hear someone talk like this, for me, it makes my skin crawl. I detest it. When somebody is so flippant with, oh, I'm not going to do this, and it's this, and whatever they get, that is horrid. It makes my skin crawl. But when that person is doing it, their attitude, if you listen and you observe, is a choice you're going to make. And that choice is to realize this attitude is a very good, bad example. Very good, bad example. So you look at it and you say, wow, that's horrid. That means you know it's a bad thing. And it's a good example for you to have, to know you should never think like that. You should never speak like that. And I cannot emphasize sufficiently how difficult it is for you to realize that what the seeds you sow are the seeds you're going to get back. Hi, good morning, Ezra. The seed that you put on the ground and you nurture by how you think and how you behave, your body language. When you do that, you have to realize that is what you're going to get. We talked about being paid in the same coins that you paid others. Basically, this is what it is. If you're able to share what you have with others, do not be afraid that if I give it to them, I won't get back. That is scarcity. But guess what? You are making it scarce for you, not for them. You already decide, I do not have enough to give. And sometimes we look at someone who we purport to be wealthier than us because maybe they just have that gift from God that makes them feel like their life is exuberant and amazing and there are no obstacles in their path because they look at a challenge as something to learn from. So when you see them on the surface, you go, man, she's got it made. I'm not going to waste my time and buy her something or give her something or do something for her or assist her or teach her. What are you doing at that time? You're standing in your life and you're saying the grass is greener on the other side. So that grass does not need any fertilizer. That's what you're saying. When you decide you're not going to share because you purport that they have everything they have, but don't you realize that giving a little gift to somebody, whether it's in a word, a thought, or an action, is going to lift their energy up. When they lift their energy up, it will lift your energy up to see that a little bit of the fragrance stays on the hand that gives the rose. Remember that. When you give that rose to that person, some of it has to stay with you. You're going to feel better. It's when you just take that poor rose and you scrunch it and say, I want it for me. You cannot do that without having all this thing and you're crushing your emotion. Because your feeling is crunched. Your energy is crunched. It's not open. It's not vibrant. It's not exuberant. It's not letting it go. because you're so afraid you do not have enough. And sometimes that stems from childhood, where you might have been brought up in a family that it was tough, it was challenging, ends weren't meeting, financial lack was strong, didn't always have the right clothes, the right coat, but if you keep carrying it with you, then it's yours. It didn't belong to you in the first place. As much as it was an experience you had growing up, that was the life your parents had, or these people who were responsible for you. But listen, they too did not have the teachings from the generation before them. Now you know better. What are you doing to realize you do not have to carry that attitude of lack and scarcity with you? And it's not only, as I said, the tangible things. You know a friend who has gone somewhere on vacation. You see a nice beach. Does it hurt to say, wow, lovely, amazing? They share. Now you can see an author shares, although you pay for the book, although you got it for free. The person is sharing. You are going where the author has been and you're still sitting at home. And that is what the people do. It's an art to share. They get paid, of course, by you buying the book. And when you think that when you see a price of a book for $40, the author gets $40, you better put a thinking cap on. The author will be lucky if they get $1. I know what I'm talking about. So when somebody sells 1 million books, they literally sold 1 million books to get $1 million. And that is because the fee is so little for the author, but they shared. So when you pick something up to read, or you look at somebody doing something on Instagram that's sharing, or on the internet and they're sharing, this is what I do. Appreciate that. Say, great, I love it. I enjoyed your recipe. I enjoyed your photo of your trip. I enjoyed seeing. You have to give. That is giving. There are two things we are completely confused with. The word prosperity and the word giving. You know the meaning. But we should realize under every meaning, there is an underlying meaning. And until you get to the core of this thing, giving is not only giving something that you feel you have. You give your thoughts. You give a smile. A smile is giving. You smile at somebody, they smile back. They gave you, now you receive. It's when you're holding it and you're hungry and you retire. What's the rush of going through life that you cannot stand in a line for 10 seconds? What is the rush that you have to be mumbling and hungry? And we know that. I lived it at the bank. You come 2 minutes to 8 and yet you're banging on the door. It's not going to open. And where are you going? You're retired. Like when I asked the man, do you have an appointment? No. Well, I can call your boss. I don't work, I'm retired. That's how I got it. The woman behind him started laughing and saying he's in a rush to die. Because that was the choice left. So this is what you have to understand. Give the goodness that comes from you. It is not always the thing that you can hold in your hand, or the knowledge you know for sure that you will not share because I want it. That is why sometimes you know a friend is doing something on Instagram and people will tell me, why did you watch them? They never watch you. I wouldn't watch them. I don't watch them. I go to learn from them. I go to get something from them. Everybody has a lesson for you. There is no lesson that's too big or too small. So when you see someone doing something, take a look. Especially if all of a sudden you feel like pressing that button, do it. The word you heard, that one word is your nugget for the day. You went to give them some help and instead you receive help. Has that ever happened to you? The art of giving is reciprocal. It comes right back. It's a boomerang. So do not doubt it ever. No matter how you look at giving, from the tangible to the non-tangible to all of that, it's still giving. And they tell us you give to receive. Sometimes there are people that will rock you and promise you heaven, which they do not have themselves. by telling you, oh, give to the church, give to the preacher, give me an airplane. You don't want me to fly coach, do you? I need my own personal plane. No, you need to separate the wheat from the sheaves. You need to know which one is speaking the truth. You cannot just blindly believe because they said they are preaching and they are going to preach to you that they are being honest and they're giving you the information to help you. Hello? That information they're giving is to help them to line their pockets. We know that. But you cannot tell a convert to change that and to recognize it. So do not hit your head against the wall when you have a convert in your life that has been converted. Do not waste the time to tell them anything. The converter is usually stronger than the person that converted them. So you will just anger. But we should all learn to realize that all that glitters is not gold. We know that. We know, because sometimes we are walking on rocky stones and it hurts. But after a while, we get accustomed to it. It's when we are always on the smooth road and we hit a bump, that's when it really crashes us. So the act of giving, it does not have to be that you're abused by the person you're giving to. You have to realize that there are charlatans in every field of life. And you need to know what you're doing with that giving thing. And I feel good. I'm giving, and fine. This is Thanksgiving for us this weekend. So, listening to the news, the food bank is running short. They just cannot do it. So, are they going to drop a bag at your door? They do for us in our area. And you just fill it with everything you have, or you go out and get the things that are good. And you give. Do not give something that you know is expired, that you wouldn't feed your family. Do not do that. That is not giving. That is dumping garbage that you will not have on somebody else. And then you wonder how come your life is not improving. You're hitting the same anvil and the iron is hot and you're not getting a shape out of your life. Strike the anvil while the iron is hot. You're doing this. And then you're blocked. Don't you know that torn, smelly, dirty piece of garment that you put in the bag for the cerebral palsy, the kidney foundation, diabetes foundation, that they can't use it? Would you use it? You wouldn't. So why are you giving it away? Would you feed your children something that you know that is expired? Why do you want somebody else to take it just because they have less than you? And you talk about giving? Give your best. If you're going to do something for somebody and you know you cannot give them their best, tell them no. Just say no. It's better for you to admit you cannot do this than to do it halfway because you do not want to give. But the point is, if the river is only going in one direction, guess what? It has to go in both directions, right? Flow and ebb. It must move. So if you're going to give your best this weekend and next month for Americans. If they say they need it and you want to do it, do it. The effort you will take to drive to the nearest depot and drop a bag of 20, that's all you have, $10, $5, 2 boxes of cereal, maybe that's all you've got. But that is more than the people lining up at the food bank to get. That if you're going to do it and you're going to tell them how to do it, then don't do it. If you're going to give it and tell them how they should use it, then don't do it. It's not your job. Your job is not to dictate how they use the money you donate or the food or the clothes you donate, whether they sell it. That is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to give. And they have to choose how they're going to use what they receive. Because everything is the same. If you are constantly going to somebody for help and always receiving, always receiving, always receiving from that person, and you're not able to come back one day and say thank you, then the river is flowing in one way. And it says it's little beavers, but it is flowing in one way, and you have to know that. So if your job is constantly receive and you cannot be bothered to make an effort to give with joy in your heart and feel good and hide your giving away from prying eyes so they don't have to see that you're giving so much, it's okay. Yours comes from a higher power. They have to get it from you. But when it flows down and your cup is completely empty, guess what? What is going to come back in your cup is not going to be the same like you have. It's going to be better, a higher quality. Believe that and know that. In order for you to be filled, you must be empty. You cannot fill what is full already. It does not work that way. So when you're making the effort to donate and you decided today is a good day to give the man at the liquor store entrance $1. He didn't ask you, he begged, he said fine. He didn't force you, sorry, not ask. He didn't force you to give it. But you have decided you're going to give it. Do not stand there with your index finger up his nose to tell him do not use it to buy alcohol. It's none of your business. Your responsibility as a human being, you chose to be charitable, to give the 25 cents or the whatever. Do not wag your finger and giving. That's not your job. Once, like my brother Milton, actually I told this story already, but today is important to hear it. He came out of a convenience store in New York City, a man sitting on the sidewalk in front of the store. He took what he had, $5 or something, and he handed it to the man. The owner of the convenience store comes running out and tells him, hey, don't do that. He's only going to use the money for alcohol or drugs or whatever it was. So Milton said to him, sir, it's none of my business what he does with that money. It's none of my business. My job is to give it to him and he can choose. The moment the money left my hand, my brother said, it was no longer mine. So it's his to do with it as it's pleased. And if you are thinking of giving a gift and you have an attitude of giving that gift that you're going to buy the worst thing or the thing that's not so nice or as I said again, what you wouldn't buy for yourself. Or if you're giving it with a heavy heart, I'm not putting effort into that. I'm just paying $5. I'm going to the dollar store. Come on, let that go. There is more anger in you, more dissatisfaction in you than you could ever give to another human being. Remember what I have told you, and it's true. You will know that. Our attitude, our behavior, our energy belongs to us. It does not belong to anybody else. So when you have this attitude and that you're giving, and I'm just going to give them that, I can't be bothered. Guess what? That's what you're getting. That's what you're telling the universe you want. And then you wonder why you have nothing to give, or you're not receiving anything, or nobody's even smiling at you, or people look at you and they look you up and down. You wonder? But look at what you're sending out. You cannot get different than what you give. It does not make sense to expect miracles when you are choking miracles that you could hand to others. You know something. Give generously what you know. I will always have to call names of those of you that are here. I remember to this day when I had never known Ryan. I was coaching here. And Ryan came because somebody recommended him to me. And the first thing he asked me is, why don't you charge? And I said to him, what will $20 do for me? Whereas I can take that, teach you how to use that $20 to push you further. I always remember that. And I know Brian always remember that. It's not that, what would it do for me? There is this young human being that is long. He was really young. And all he wants is to get to the right spot. All he wants is somebody to give him information for him to flourish. And I'm going to put a beaver in his river by charging him when he can barely at that time, with the earnings he had, make ends meet. That's what you have to think. That's what you have to think. When the river is not flowing in your direction, stop and ask yourself, who is the beaver that is damming my river? Sometimes it's ourselves. By our attitude, our behavior, our thoughts, our words, our actions, and sometimes even our energy, our body language. Watch your body language. It sends a message of who you are. What you do when you speak, your whole face does not have to deliver the message. Your face, people should have cameras everywhere they go. I can't be bothered with this. No, you know what? Then the world cannot be bothered with you either. The energy of today cannot be bothered with you either if you cannot be bothered with the energy you're sending to the world. The art of giving is every minute and second of your day. And again, do not take that word to mean giving all these wonderful, amazing little things. It's not that. It isn't, It's all sometimes emptying that cup of yours with whatever you have. Your cup should be so full that there are different types of things you can give away. It's not always one thing. Sometimes, if you do not give or you do not share and you do not receive and you're stagnant, shake it up. Get up and go and find out inside of yourself, how come I am here? How come my cogs are not moving smoothly no matter what I do? Realize sometimes you have to be bold and you have to realize I am worthy. And sometimes the people that take the most advantage of you are so close to you that when you breathe, you are breathing their mouth. Sometimes the people that takes most advantage of you, you gave them 9 months already, no charge. And you have to remember that. And when a person takes, you have to also realize that the qualities you despise the most in the spouse or the person you had that child with is going to surface sometimes. It's nurture not going to change that. Nature is stronger than nurture. And you have to live with that. But you do not let it take you down a place where you are the one emptying your cup into that person. It's like the Bible said. It is like they used to say the earth was never satisfied with water. Or a barren womb can never be fertilized because it just ticks and ticks and ticks and there's no conception there. So don't be frightened because it's your child to see something that's not good in them. Stop and realize it took 2 of you to do that dance. You didn't do it by yourself. And then taper your giving to suit that energy. You can teach it, but you cannot curve it out of them. You can let them see it and realize it's not a good habit by giving them some information. You do not criticize the spouse or the partner that was in creation with you because at that time you weren't criticizing, you were loving. But you have to know. So when that person is constantly coming back to the sink to the tap and looking for more, you have to say, stop it. I matter. I am worthy. I am worthy of your respect. Give, I cannot give anymore. So that thing, the art of giving, you have to, it's recognizing that you're worthy of the best. That you're worthy to receive good too. So when we are doing this giving thing, remember there's a time that you have to put a lid on it. In certain cases, you have to just put a lid on it. Not in all the cases. And when you put the lid on it, do not go away mad. Stop to give an explanation. Hi, that's why I'm doing this. Because I am still in charge to teach you how to live your life so that you will live a better life in the future. That's your job. The art of giving has so much in it. So this Thanksgiving coming up for us and next month for the Americans, come on guys, do better than last year. Make an effort. Put the energy out there. So guess what? It boomerangs back to you. And when you see it starts to flow, nothing stops your flow. No beaver, Stacy, can get into your river. Have a great day, everybody. I'm happy and grateful to have had the privilege to bring the art of giving to you guys on this Canadian Thanksgiving weekend. Enjoy your weekend. I will see you guys on Monday morning. And let me see how many of you are still hanging on for this last breath of the day. Sorry guys, this thing does whatever it wants. So hello Kimberly darling, I didn't see you coming in. Hello Stacy, Juliana, Kia, Pina, thanks, Amma, Ezra, Georgie, Lisa, Ryan and Loretta. Thank you, wonderful, amazing, sweet, adorable human beings, and have a wonderful morning. See you on Monday morning, Canadian Thanksgiving. So we're celebrating on Sunday and we're having 12 people, which is like a third of what we would normally have in the good old days when Brian was alive, and the children and the nieces and the nephews and the aunts and the uncles. 33 was normal. 3 6-foot tables, and Brian insisting that we do all the cooking and all the this and all the that. And now we're just having 12 of us, I think. I'm not sure, but I think it's 12. So this still means a lot of cooking, and I enjoy it. My neighbor saw me coming in yesterday. She said, Thanksgiving. I said, yeah, how many? 12. She said, oh, that's a little for you. And then she said, I can barely do 4. I said, oh, I love it. I love to cook. I love to entertain. I love to have people eating. So I will start. I took the turkey from the freezer last night. It's in the fridge. And I will start, I have all my stuff. So I start doing preparations from Saturday morning. I will bake bread, make the dough, put it to rise overnight in the fridge, covered in the pans. And I use, if you guys ever saw my baking pans, they're ceramic pans from when I had my ceramic business. And they're the colors, they have all the oils from the different times we bake bread. They're only for baking bread. No soap is ever used on them, hot water only. And stuffing, homemade stuffing, not from a box. We're going to use sausage meat. A maple leaf and that. I gave Yuko the recipe. She's doing her first turkey this weekend ever. Not a recipe, I just told her what I use. I have no measurement. And of course, mashed potato, Spanish rice, I don't know, we'll see, and all the vegetables. And then the 9 cheese, macaroni and cheese. That thing is delicious. So because of the amount of cheese, we also have to put a little bit of gin in there, so that it just brings out the flavor. You know, gin brings out flavors, right? Because it's made from juniper berries, and it helps to, it's a natural type of thing, although it's clear, but it's made from botanicals, let's call it that way. So anyway, so that's this weekend. So I will be busy, have my Nike running shoes on. I wear only running shoes in the house. I do not wear slippers, so my feet will be ready to go. I won't be tired, and I'm ready to go, fired up, ready to make Thanksgiving amazing. And I think, I don't know who's making this chocolate cake, but anyway, guys, I'll maybe take some pictures and I'll show it to you. Have a great weekend. Love you. Bye-bye, everybody.